What's up, guys? Mega Bleeder here with another episode of Dusty Hell. I did some stuff between the episodes, mostly just some quality of life. I'm going to show you what all of that looks like, and we're going to get into a bunch of work today. Let's get started. So one thing I did was built this seared furnace. This is really nice for bulk smelting. Like, I could take a ton of cobblestone down here and be able to just dump all that in there. It's going to cook it all at the same time. I didn't really pick a specific reason for this size. I kind of just dump a bunch of cobblestone in the smeltery here and let it pump out into bricks and do its thing. I also built up a couple of machines. I'm not sure what I had and didn't have last time. Tucked back here, we've got a compactor for making plates. We do have an induction smelter. We're making hardened glass. Got a pulverizer. Do have a furnace. I was purifying a bunch of water with that. I've got a little clay automation here. So as long as our cacti keep up with water, we're going to have clay coming in. And I crafted up a bunch of that. Where are these bricks? See if we T-search. Yeah, they're all in here. This is like our base building materials crate there. Down here, I don't think there was anything. One thing that I definitely want to do in this episode, I think, we're going to do a whole lot. I'm going to do a whole lot in this episode. But this is going to get rebuilt because, as you can see, there's a lot of spillage. And every time a hammer breaks, it drops the wrong block. So if I come down here, this should be dust, and there's like a bunch of sand and gravel and stuff in it. So that's not good, obviously. But like, I'll go through here and clear out all of this. And you can see all the blocks that it's picking up. They're just kind of floating there above it. So this system here is pretty broken. I thought I had... Yeah, it's not working that well, and it's not very fast either. So we're going to build something different. What I was working on did a lot of quality of life stuff. If we go up here, you can see we've got grass. So I did a ton of work. I built 2 tree farms. We can see those running there. I also... over here, set up some lava mills. These are from extra utilities, so we're generating 304 grid power. Not that we necessarily needed, or we don't need a ton of grid power right now, but if we're going to be using transfer nodes, things like that from extra utilities, that'll be helpful. And that I can continue and just like expanding it up. And I thought it looked pretty neat too, like pretty neat. Little structure there. Over here, I've got 2 tree farms. We've got this one here, which is just a standard tree farm. It's a plant gatherer with a range add-on, and that's getting us some wood. I'm not convinced that this is like the setup that I want to go with. I do have the crop supports and the greenhouse glass. So the wood is getting pulled out. I've got stack upgrades and speed upgrades in here. So here we're using a decent amount of grid power. This guy's using only 5. We don't have other upgrades, though. If we look at extra utilities, we only have the kind of base upgrades. We don't have the other ones that you make with like the enchanted ingots, which is kind of a bummer, but that's all right. This one over here has the leaf shearing upgrade. So we're getting a ton of leaves from that. And I had this as one farm set up before, and it wasn't working all that well. And it's still kind of not working all that well. The saplings aren't being like evenly distributed. I think what I'm going to end up doing is putting a fortune upgrade in here, and that should work. If we take a look at this, it will add fortune or looting to machines that accept the add-on. It needs to be enchanted with fortune. Oh, that's a bummer. And it will use the enchantment level for the machine actions. So when this guy breaks leaves, it should make more saplings. Now, there are a ton of saplings that are just kind of floating all around the place over here. And I'm not sure what kind of range the vacuum hopper has. What kind of range this guy has? Let's test it out. When you reach 1, 2, 3, 4, this would be the edge. Not quite. But can you reach that block? Yeah, so the range isn't that great on these. Interesting. And is it the range collector, this is out of our reach currently. We don't have something that will work well for gathering these up. I do have a lot of saplings here. So this was the original drawer and like our kind of little mini charcoal automation. So I do have a lot of saplings here. So this farm setup is not final just yet, but we do have a ton of stuff. I am going to move the farm from over there over to here. This was my dirt production, so just dump a bunch of leaves in here. It gets dumped out, pumped into the hoppers, pumped into the barrels, and then all those just get dumped into here. So we've got an absolute ton of grass coverage now. Our whole entire base, all the way around, does have... Oh, didn't mean to end up here. Our whole entire base does have grass, which is nice. The dust was getting kind of old. But, I mean, this is a dusty hell, so what do you expect? I also got some worms from Actually Editions, and usually I like to spam these down a little bit differently so that they overlap a little bit more, but those are going to work just fine. What I am going to do, I put down our crops here that we're going to use for our farm. So we've got canola that we're going to need for plastic production. And then, let's see, I'm going to put those here. We've got canola that we need for plastic production. And then we've got 9 more crops that we're going to need for generating biofuel. And I'm not sure. I think this is going to be fast enough. If not, what I will do is add in like a fertilizer. Okay, so all of those are grown up. Yep, that's good. And let's go ahead and break this barrel, get it out of here. This is the old farm. This is our old power setup, so we've got a plant interactor here that's going to go over there. And then all that's getting pulled out and put into drawers. I'm going to modify this so that each one has its own crafter. And then there's going to be a drawer section for seeds. And basically we fill up the bioreactor with different seeds. It creates this biofuel, and that feeds biofuel generators. One of these reactors will actually feed 28 of these generators, and these produce 160 RF per tick. So that's going to be a very good power source that I feel like should carry us for a really, really long time. Okay, so I think this is going to work. I got all our crops placed in. I've got our plant interactor here. It's full of sludge. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the sludge. There are a couple of useful things here. Like there's a small chance to get soul sand, I guess. But we'll automate that here soon. So what I've got is the interactor coming out. That's pumping into the drawer controller. And then I've got the crops up here across the top. They are going into a wooden hopper that are feeding down into analog crafters that are just feeding down into these guys to get us our seeds and things. The only thing, I might swap this one out for another crop just to make it all the same. Honestly, I could have put canola here, but I don't want all of the canola being turned into seeds, but honestly, it might be fast enough to not really be an issue. But I kind of wanted canola anyway for separate stuff like LPG, so this will be fine. Maybe I'll swap the potatoes out for something else later. I don't know. What we've got from there is a controller slave coming down. These are connected with trim. And that's pumping out the seeds into our bioreactor here. From the backside, I'm pumping out the biofuel, and that's going into this generator and this tank. This generator is just powering the plant interactor. This guy only uses 40 RF a tick, so there is some extra overhead here. I placed down some blocks, and I feel like this is helping. I think that we were just growing too many trees. I think that might have been the problem. Like over here, we're growing too many. We were growing too many. And I might trim this down a little bit as well. You know, like if you build a huge block of trees, you're missing a lot of leaves. So you're getting saplings that you're not getting. That, and I have these saplings here that are falling all over the place, which are kind of a pain, but I may or may not deal with that later. This charcoal automation is going to get changed as well. So this is a proof of concept here. The next thing that I want to do, actually, I want to swap out this open blocks tank for a black hole tank. And we're going to move our inventory panel. So now that I've got our farm moved, I'm actually going to tear this whole thing up. Before we get too much further, what I actually want to do is move our storage setup, because this indexer is actually pretty good, but with the way that I have things set up, and you can break these if you put these crate keepers in them, like a temporary thing. You put the crate keeper in there, you can break them and pick them up. But they do like go away. It's like a one-use item. So what I'm going to do is take these crates and we're going to put them down, and I'm going to put a pipe here, one of these here, and then this guy should be able to see all of this. It can see everything that's in here. And if I want something, let's say a hopper, I can click and it'll pull it from that to put it in there. So it's pretty fast. Now I can speed this part up if I do a speed upgrade. And I'm not sure that I have the redstone. Do I have any redstone in here? Yeah. So I've been kind of bouncing a bunch of stuff around. And I need, what is it, gold? I need gold also. So I want to centralize our storage, and actually, I was getting ready to go downstairs for items, and our items are now up here. Let's take gold, and let's take, just for demonstration, let's take these out of here. And with these guys, I can do this. And if I take these and put those in there, then whenever I put something back in here, let's put this in here, now it'll get pumped out even faster. We can actually go one further and use a big upgrade. Need a diamond and gold. gonna have to grab a diamond from down here. We're gonna move all this as well. Mob farm making noise. And if we use a stack upgrade, like so, that when we put this in here as well, whenever we drop stuff in there, boom, it gets pulled out really fast. So it's a lot easier to work with this. It is still kind of slow to get everything back out. I don't know that it works to put a transfer node on here. I think it's just going to pull everything out and put it into these other ones. Let's see, do I have any other nodes? Do I have 2 more of those? No, but I might be able to make some. Maybe. What do I need? Cobblestone? No, I need stone. Which I think I have. You downstairs. Okay, so yeah, that doesn't work. This can't see anything. Yeah, so those have to come off of there. Squeeze back there to get that one. There we go. And basically what I'm going to do, let's dump all this in here. These are just going to be catch-alls, really. And if I grab, let's see, I need a drawer controller. I'm going to put a storage wall here as well. And I think if I put one more barrel there, I could drop this down so that I can reach that barrel. And what I mean by that, let's see. Let's put another barrel here. And then I can attach a controller on this side. Yeah, that'll work. Let me make that up. Okay, so this is my concept here. We've got the indexer. We've got the node in there. We can't see it because these storage crates are fat. And you can't see through them, which has always been like a weird thing, but whatever. And I've got servos down here, so anything that does get put in the storage crate that should go into the drawer wall will get pulled out to be able to put into there. So if I use this iron as an example, and I dump all this in here, we can see it made its way into this crate, but this crate is now going to export it into this. So I can walk up and anything I dump in here will get dumped out into a crate. And if it's supposed to go into a drawer, it'll automatically get put into that. So that's pretty nice. So I think what I'm just going to do is go through and empty out all of everything that's everywhere in the whole entire base and drop it into these crates. I'll probably organize it at first in some sort of way that seems to make sense. And then, you know, stuff that's going to go in drawers is probably going to be like mob drops, things like that. I will have to come up with a good way. Do we have anything other than the vanilla ender chest? It does not look like it. Reward collector. There's the black hole controller. That's be decent if we were making like crazy items. I don't know that RF Tools has the, well, I guess, let's see. Modular. At our tools. This has a storage block, but I don't think that's in here. Like, it's got the storage modules. Storage tablet. Where is the storage block? RF, liquid. Those are builder, matter, screen controller. I don't think the storage block is in here. It doesn't look like it. We got crafters, matter booster, screen controller. If we search storage, it's not here. So I don't know why. I don't exactly remember. This RF charge tablet can hold a storage module and allows the wielder to manipulate the contents of the module. You can also craft this with a storage controller screen module for remote access to a storage scanner. There we go, storage scanner. Scan an area for shape cards for builder or shield. No, there's not a storage scanner. Interesting. Oh well. So I'm going to move all of our drawers and stuff like that from downstairs up here. And I do need to redo all of our material storage like this so that we can have compacting drawers. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so now that we've got our storage set up, I can expand this too. So anything that we end up with a ton of in here, in any of these crates, I'll move into drawers. And since we have like a crazy amount of emeralds, we can easily upgrade these. We can add in tons of emerald upgrades. But what I want to do, since we're going to be using biofuel for quite a while for producing power, what I want to do is get a black hole tank. So once we get one of these guys, basically we're going to be set as far as the power storage goes. If you kind of think about it, storing the liquid is kind of like storing energy. So if you're struggling with storing energy, just store fuel and you should be fine. This will probably be, let's see, I think I need another one of these servos. Let's pull our plastic. Do have a machine frame. Let's get one servo and tank. Then, damn, black hole tank. Then we can break these guys. Also, that texture is kind of broken there, which makes it a little weird. And if we put this, I think this spot makes sense. We can dump those in there. Oh, that's neat. Yeah. And that's going to be a ton of biofuel. And this thing will sit and run. And I don't think that we'll have any issues with stuff backing up here. I did put a void upgrade on this guy because it was filling up, but it's not really that big of a deal. I was going to void upgrade the top of these, but I don't think now that we have this black hole tank here, I don't think we're going to have any issues. And I think there's a way, I thought there was a way to change the black hole tank, or like the way it displays information. Okay, no, maybe that's on a newer version. So we've got tons of fuel there. Let's throw those away. And what are we working on next? Let's see what we can do to get this pneumatic armor. I think we have enough circuits. Yeah, we should be totally fine. So we just need to make a couple of these guys. We're going to need 4 of them. I think we have all the materials. So the one thing about the indexer is it's a little bit slow because it has to pull all the items in. But it's not that bad. And it is wireless. And I think as long as these chunks are loaded, it's like unlimited. So if we loaded all of these, and I'm not sure if I have enough. Yep. Okay, so yeah, we've got 100 and we've got 50 that we can load. So now our base is loaded. So even if we go to another dimension, like but we do need leather gear. That's gonna mean we need more of this. Bam. Helmet and chest piece. Should get us all the leather that we need. Let's bring in some more. We're gonna need 4 plus, that's 11. That's 7 plus 4, 11, 15, 18 air canisters. Okay, this is the type of thing, when we do bulk crafting like this, it actually makes more sense to do it this way and actually pull out the items, just because. Let's see, do a T search. Of course, they're way back here. And pipes, pipes, pipes. There's only 5 of them. And these guys are made with glass. I think I have glass right here. And I also have a crafting table here, so we could easily do this. I don't need that much. We'll just take like a little over a stack. That should be fine. And then these also need redstone. So we'll do that. So we need not 28, but I think 14 was enough, wasn't it? And then we can click these guys. Look at that. I could have made this ages ago. Oh, I need another canister. Oh, it wasn't 14. What was it, 18? 4 more of these. And sweet. All this, I'm going to dump those in there because I'll be wanting to use that. And then those can go in there. Great. So I can take these off, but is there a fall damage upgrade? At pneumatic craft. Let's see. There's the jet boots. I could make this. Night vision, scuba, armor, charging, magnet. Probably want magnet. I don't think... Oh, leggings and helmet? Range? I wonder what that does. I wonder what the range upgrade does in the helmet. Coordinate tracker, item search, speed upgrade. Ooh, these can go into all of our weapon, or all of our armor slots. Jet boots. So let's get jet boots and air conditioning. I think we should be able to do that. Air conditioning, we might have everything. Ooh, maybe. What are we missing? We're missing more lapis. Yeah. I was just kind of staging up the block there, and so I didn't get all of it. But what we can do is just take a bunch of it out and run back. Dump it all in here, and then air conditioning up. Once we have 4 of those, bam, drop those off. And the jet boots, the vortex cannon, I think I have yellow dye. I just need 2 canisters. Let's come in. 1 and 2. Jet boots, vortex cannon. Yellow dye. Yellow dye. Pretty sure I have yellow flowers, but I think they are over here. I put all of our farming stuff that we have there. Yeah, there's a yellow dye. Let's just take these guys and do... We've got a lever. Need 2 more air canisters, so this should be good. Sweet. And this can be used just to make the jet boot. Shoots air vortices, harmless projectiles, which repel entities, shear animals, and destroy plants and leaves. Careful typing, you can also fling yourself considerable distances. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we need a lever. Should be lever and another cannon. Sweet, and jet boots. Let's do that, and then a compressor, which we should be able to make once we get enough compressed iron. Almost. There we go, and that's not going to work. Do these need to be filled up with air? Let's check it in the regular crafting table. Interesting. They do need to be filled up with air. Okay, so I made another little advanced air compressor and hooked up our charging station here. This guy can charge up pretty far, so just threw a little bit of coal in there. But I think now, yeah, now we've got our jet boots. Now, let's see. Insert into a charging station to install upgrades. Air conditioning. These go in the boots. Fantastic. Now, what is the chest plate? Charging module. This module pressurizes or depressurizes any pressurizable items in the inventory it points at. Note, air can both flow to and from items in the inventory, depending on their pressure and pressure in the tube. When upgraded with an advanced PCB, air flows much more quickly. Interesting. What I'm curious about is, do these work like when I'm standing on this or anything like that? I don't think that they do. Interesting. Okay, let's stop that. Let me get all this stuff charged up, because this is definitely going to be an armor upgrade, but we're just going to need more fuel to make that happen. Okay, we've got new armor. We've got a pneumatic helmet, chest plate, leggings, and boots. I do have the jet boot upgrade. I'm probably going to upgrade this a little bit because it's pretty slow right now. But from what I understand, it can be faster. But yeah, we've got our little Iron Man jet boots, which are pretty neat. And you can see, like, at the top there, you can see our how fast we're moving. We can see our pitch, our direction, our altitude. I believe that's our Y level. We can see how far we are above the ground, even our speed. Bang our head into the ground. It also gives us all damage resistance, I believe. So if I come up here, and we jump down. Wait. Obviously, there's a low speed fall right there, but if we turn off the jet boots, yeah, it negates fall damage, which is pretty nice. And I also, this took me way too long to figure out, but I've got a little air compressor here. This is more just, again, a proof of concept. So this guy is providing air pressure to this charging station, which is not really fun to take all of your armor back to recharge. So what you do is you take this charging module and you have to attach it to a pipe first, but then you point that into the aerial interface. I'm not sure which one of these has to be on, but we do our side configuration to, and I'm not even certain that these need to be on, but we've got air pressure from both sides going in. I didn't really test it to see which one it is, but setting both of them to armor slots is totally fine. And I put 5 volume upgrades in here. So now this holds a lot more air. And I did that so that we will have a huge battery for charging up our chest plate, which has the air conditioning upgrade in it. And I do have 2 more of those because we can put those in there and that'll regulate our heat a lot better, but it is a lot more draining on the power. And then this guy, we can also put the volume upgrades. And I probably could, if instead of putting them in here, I could put them in the chest plate, but I don't know that it matters much. I think either way will probably be just fine. Maybe it'll be better. I don't want to take them out of here though, because all of that pressure will get like deleted. So that's no good. But what I want to do now is actually take our old pressure setup from down here, our plastic and LPG and all that from down here. We do have to set up soul sand. I've got to set up a better soul sand automation, which this one isn't bad, but we just need better because we're going to need a lot of soul sand and witch water to make this better. But we've got to hook up our canola press to a tank that will then get piped into the refinery. And then I'm going to set up a couple of big tanks. I'll probably set up, I don't think I'll set up a black hole tank for plastic, but I think for LPG I will. And for kerosene I will. I tried to put redstone in here to get lubricant, but it wasn't working. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong with that. But yeah, I'm going to move this outside and get everything hooked back up. We're rebuilding it again and doing that just so that we have better access to it and better access to expanding it. And I think what I'm actually going to do, these thermopneumatic processing plants, I'm going to connect to one vortex tube. So all the processing plants will be placed around one block of compressed iron. Kind of like down here. There's a block of compressed iron and that shares heat. So what I'll do is put one vortex tube on. That way I don't have one for each, because like it's 657 degrees is like it doesn't need to be that hot. It really doesn't. The same thing with these two guys. So I'm going to get that set up. And I think what I might end up being able to do is put these on top of the compressed iron block that'll be there. And I think these I might be able to hook up to one vortex tube and share with compressed blocks of iron on the back, but I'm not really certain. And these I can't bounce, which kind of sucks. I am going to swap out these wooden barrels for wooden crucibles with a black hole tank over here, pulling out our leaves to make water. And this is going to turn into water production. So I'm going to go do that. Okay, so flip this guy on. He's going to pump out leaves, and those leaves are going to feed all of these hoppers, which as you can see are feeding a bunch of these barrels. And once these fill up, it'll take it a minute for them to all fill up, but they will backlog. I'm confident on that. And then all we need to do is make a little retriever node for fluids. And if we pop that down right here, we'll likely see this guy fill up with water. I am going to need some upgrades. Now this will be a lot easier to do now that we have the drawer wall. Just a little bit awkward to craft items out of there. If we can catch it fast enough, we can like order 2 sets. But yep, that guy's gonna get water. And then we just need a tank, which I could just take one of these for now. And if I pop that down there, that should fill up with water pretty quickly, actually, because these guys are going to be running. It's going to take it a little bit of time to like get caught up, but it should be pretty good. You can see at the top there how much fluid we have coming through. We've got creepers trying to jump into our base, apparently. So let's take a look. Yeah, look at that. This guy's already full of water. Nice. So let's go ahead and get another tank. And that's going to be a black hole tank. Oh man, that took me down a rabbit hole. I ran out of circuits. I ran out of capacitors. I ran out of so much. So I've been down here messing around with some stuff. Let's see. That's got those in there, so those can come out. Yeah, oh man, I ran out of pretty much everything that I needed, and I just ran out of redstone too, because I put that away. I need 3 stacks of redstone. So let me do that. Those go with those 2, and those go with those. I really am not the biggest fan of not having my slime boots, because that was actually really helpful. I just drop all those in there, pretty much. And then those are going to get sucked into here to do their thing. And then once they come out, they'll be ready to rock. So all of that is doing that stuff. But that's our black hole tank. So we can store our water. And these things are probably all full now. Yeah, look at that. All these are full of water. Which means these poppers are probably full, which is awesome. We can just take that guy, pop that down there, dump that in there. And this thing is just going to be going crazy on pumping water. And we're going to have a ton of water in here. We'll basically have unlimited water because these, look at that, we've got a full drawer of leaves. And leaves make up, 4 leaves make up a bucket of water. So you do the math, you know, 1,536 divided by 4. We've got that many buckets, so like 400 buckets of water. And that's just going to be like constantly flowing in. We can see these guys. Yeah. Yeah, we got lots of water. Drop those in there. Look at that, already 250 buckets of water. That's flowing up at a decent tick. What's that, like 1 per second? A bucket every 3 seconds or so. It'll probably surge up every once in a while and be more than that. And if absolutely necessary, there is room here for me to put more hoppers. What I would end up doing is just moving this out. Let's see. I do have room, but what I would just do is make another line of all this. And I could extend it out this way here on this little wall. And even possibly extend it further out over here. That would also be an option, but we've already got a bunch of water. Which is nice, because there's not really a whole lot of great ways in this pack to get water. I mean, we could melt snow, but there's not really a great way to get snow. Purified water, there's not a way to, like, get that. Oh, fractionating still. We could get salt if we weren't getting a ton of salt from sieving. We can't get the endervors. The sink doesn't provide water. Let's see. I feel like there was something else, another option. We can't make the water water condensator. So it's pretty much just shove stuff into a crucible. I think there is a way to duplicate water with the reactor somehow, but I'm not really sure how that would work. Power, am on power, make a big reactor. About a 1 shell. Don't know. Double combustion engine, but it couldn't. Coolant takes less than a bucket of water to make 3 snowballs and is way more efficient than water. It's for using cryothium. If there's a good water solution. If there is, let me know in the comments how to get water better. Okay, this should be a decent setup for our canola. I'm not sure if we've got enough power here. The canola press. Does this say how much power it uses? I don't think it does. Fermenting barrel. Actually, we might want to set that up. Yeah, I think we need to set that up, actually. Canola, let's see. Canola gets turned into crude oil, but we can also turn it into refined. Oh, do we not have the barrel? What's the... Where's it at? Can we not craft it? Blindness, canola press. I don't see it. Don't see it. What was it in the book? Fermenting barrel. Looks like it's been disabled. Okay. So we've got that set up. So we've got canola. Now we just need to use the canola in a fractionating still. Right. The thermoneumatic processing plant. So I've got to get that set up. To be able to get that set up, we need air pressure. So I grabbed my compressors, and I think those are going to go down over here. So we've got soul sand, and we've got canola. That's the kind of starting process of this whole thing. So we need that. So I'm going to set those up here. Oh, man, let me tell you. This took a minute to set up. So we've got our canola. We've got our air compressors over here. They are being fed. If I take a little jump up here, we can see we've got our pressure tube that's managing our pressure down here. We're sitting at about 4.5 bar. I'm not sure. I need to make an advanced PCB because I think I can control this a little bit better. I also moved our aerial interface over here, so our armor, if you look down here in this corner, you can see stays pretty charged up without too many issues. Let's see. I moved our pressure chamber up here, and if I put down my little set of stairs, we can still go up here and use it as we could before. I'll probably, I don't know, I'll maybe end up changing this. I'm not really certain. But we've got our canola tank here set up. We've got our soul sand set up here. So this guy's all set up. We're taking water from there to pump into here. This probably doesn't need to be here. And if we come over here, these pipes are connected up. We've got one here, fluid set for canola. That's pulling in canola. This guy is pulling in soul sand. It probably might be worth it to put in a speed upgrade in here, but it's not too big of a deal. I've got 2 vortex tubes here, and I'm not actually certain that I need both of them. I don't know if this goes faster the hotter it gets. Let me know. The more heat, yeah, okay, so it does. The more heat we apply, the faster it goes. But we are pretty backed up on most of our things. So this guy processes our canola into crude oil. And I think, is there a better way? Canola. There's the other canola oil, right? We can make it better. We take refined. Yeah. To get refined, we would have to run the crude oil through a fractionating still. And I'm not really certain if this is incredibly necessary. We do get a higher return, but I don't know that it's all that big of a deal. Same thing if we use crystallized oil and empowered oil, we get even like better return, but I don't know that it's entirely necessary. So I've got everything getting pumped out. If I kind of hop around here, it is a mess. Can I even get back here? Way that makes sense to get back here. This might void out a little bit of LPG, but it's all right. About it. Okay, so we've got diesel coming out here that's getting pumped into this TPP, thermodynamic processing plant. That's getting heat from this compressed iron tower back here. This guy only needs, it doesn't need any heat at all. What does it need? Okay, it does need, it needs 300 degrees Celsius. So that diesel gets turned into naphtha. We've also got naphtha coming out here. We've got kerosene coming out, and I've got that pumping into, yeah, barely got out of there. I've got that pumping into this tank and into this processing plant. And then I've got the kerosene being processed into naphtha again, which is getting pumped into this guy. So we're getting LPG and gasoline out of there. That's getting pumped out of here. And we've got a ton of LPG, apparently. We've got a ton of plastic, liquid plastic, that is. So what I need to do probably next is figure out how I'm going to automate blue dyes and see what's the best way to go about doing that. Now, I believe the dye mixer, yeah, and I'm not certain. How does this get? We'll produce dye more efficiently than crafting it. Give it red dye, green dye, and blue dye. Giving it will fill the color buffers. When given a laser lens, will focus that color and produce the specified dye. I don't know if that's the low. So we don't necessarily have to cook cactus for green. We could mix yellow, and we could use bone meal on sunflowers. I don't know how to get a sunflower. I don't know if that's possible. And then red is just, we can bone meal rose bushes. I think we could probably do that with a mechanical user. But we got a ton of plastic. I'll probably put a black hole tank here to store plastic, because this is running pretty well. And what I'll probably do is just like set these to white, or set a couple of them to white, or at least one of them to white, because the white can be crafted up into the plastic that we need. That's this guy. We can use white plastic, and white plastic doesn't use any dye. So that'll probably be the best way to go, I would imagine. And then piping out, let's see if I've got an duct and a servo, and maybe we'll put a chest down here just to let it sit. And I think that'll get pumped out. Yeah. Okay. So we'll have a chest full of white dye, which I could probably push into a crafter. Let's grab a crafter. Not a crate, a crafter. That. And then probably just pop that onto there. This, let's do, this way. Sticky and spread items. Gonna make plastic. I don't know if it's gonna make plastic faster than we're producing it. But I need another servo and another item duct. Grab another servo. I think one should be fine. Is that gonna pull out of there? Yes, it is. Fantastic. Probably just craft these. Now, is this crafter faster than our production? I think maybe it's about even. So we've got a ton of naphtha coming out. This, I could, and it might be worth it to put like another refinery down. I think they'll transfer heat to each other, so I could put another one like here and another one here, so we can make gasoline and LPG faster. And it might even be worth it to put this vortex tube on this side. Although we're not making plastic all that fast. I don't know. I feel like this is a decent little system. I wasn't necessarily trying to make it super compact, but I was trying to share the heat sources. That way we weren't wasting a ton of air, which I think, I don't know, I feel like we're doing a decent job of. I could probably put volume upgrades on a couple of these things, and that would make it run more efficiently, maybe. I don't know. But we've got a ton of plastic now. It looks like it is faster. Yeah, because it's not backing up, right? Yeah, so it is faster. Fantastic. Nice. All right. So that was new oil. Let's see. It was about an hour long, so I think that's probably going to be it. Oh, I needed to move my mycelium. So I set up an enchanter so that I could get Silk Touch on my exchanging gadget, but I had a ton of issues with that where that wasn't working. So I ended up just making Silk Touch instead with the Arcane and Sorcellator, and I put an item drain. Can I get up there? Here. I put an XP drain on top of it to be able to dump XP in there from my character. So we could fill it up like that. And this lets you make enchanted books. And I needed, where was it? I don't remember which one it was. I needed Silk Touch, which was glowstone? Yeah, glowstone. Okay, so I think that is probably gonna be it. Is this full? I think that's probably going to be it for this episode. Next episode, I'll probably move all these machines and get ourselves a bunch of the biofuel generators set up. And then I'll might expand out some machines over here. And then over on this side is where I'm thinking we're going to do ore processing. So I've got to get up some material stonework factories so that we can have automatic gravel and stuff like that a little bit easier. I know I could use the pulverizer, but I'm just going to use these. I don't know. Maybe that's not worth it. Each one of these guys does take 4 of the machine frames, but now that we've got plastic on passive, we're doing pretty good. And this guy is some more plastic. So we just need green, what is it? Green, black, and cyan plastic on passive. Or at least be able to make a bunch of it. It would be nice if there was an E to get that. Black plastic. Yeah. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for stopping in.